Hi everyone. Today is October 11th, 2023, and this Saturday I will be turning 20. It feels pretty surreal to say that I'll be entering a new decade of my life, but what's even more surreal to me is that I'm filming this not in Vancouver, but in Shanghai, China, because I'm currently studying abroad at SJTU for the next 9 months. Exchange has been a dream of mine since I was young, so I'm feeling all sorts of emotions sharing this with you guys, but gratitude is what I'm feeling the most. I'm very excited to be bringing you guys another one of these videos. There's just so much I want to share and talk about, so without further ado, this is 20 things I learned in 20 years. 1. Ever since the start of uni, I made a promise to myself to join a new club or community, and this has really paid off for me. Last year, I told myself I'd take on a new activity or two, and that's exactly what I did. This year, I invested more time into playing tennis, hiking, and started taking spin classes. These activities have brought me so much joy, so I'm really looking forward to finding my next hobby or activity. 2. This may be an obvious one, but has become more apparent as I grow up, but good food and good friends heal the soul. It is such a perfect way to recharge. This year, I've really grown to love cooking, especially cooking with or for my friends. 3. Never feel bad or guilty to ask for help, whether that's asking your prof or TA a question, your friends and family to help you run an errand. This is something I'm still trying to work on myself, and I thought by including it here, I would be holding myself more accountable. 4. This year was the first year that I started to travel on my own, and it really put me in situations I've never encountered before. I'm not going to lie, it was very tough at first, but every obstacle I overcame made me feel just a little bit more proud of myself. 5. Games like We're Not Really Strangers and Fluster are really great ways to start conversations to learn more about other people. Whether that's friends you just met or friends you've known for years, I've really enjoyed diving into more deep and personal conversations, so if this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend buying these games. 7. I love my friends, obviously, but I love it even more when friends from different groups meet one another and totally hit it off. I think if you're at a point in your life where your friends can easily come together and have a good time, that's when you know you've cultivated the right friends for yourself. Because although you may know them from different communities, there's a trait or two they all share at the core. 8. Social media is for you and for you only. When I was young, I would think so much about what to post and what it would look like to others. But when I started posting whatever made me feel happy, I realized it was so much more reflective of who I was, because I was no longer posting content to please others, but to please myself. So remember that your pics are for you and for you only. 9. My sister Ariel and I would fight a lot when we were younger, and a lot of adults would say, don't worry, they'll grow out of it, and some would say, once they spend time apart, they'll become much closer, and this was very, very true. Ariel spent 5 weeks at cadet camp this past summer and had so much fun there, but I soon began to realize how much I missed getting ready with her, sharing meals together, watching Little Women, having her a room away to ask her if my fit was cute, and so much more. So this is your reminder to not take for granted the time you have with your siblings. 10. This is probably an obvious one, but my oh my did I learn just how beautiful BC is. Everyone says how lucky we are to have beach, lake, oceans, mountains, all within a couple hours of a drive away. This year I learned just how much beauty this province has to offer and how lucky we are to call this place home. 11. Although we may all look different, we all desire and need the same things in life. We all need food and water, obviously, but I think feeling loved and like we belong are just as necessary. We crave vulnerability and authenticity. We want to have genuine connections with others. And this was so apparent to me exactly a year ago when I posted this video publicly for the first time. I was so blown away by the overwhelmingly positive response that I received, and it made me realize that as humans, we want to do so much more than post about what we eat and what we do in life. And I really hope that one day mainstream media can be more centered around being more transparent and vulnerable, because I think this is what truly moves people at the core. 12. When moving to another country, the effects of culture shock is something you cannot physically, emotionally, mentally prepare for, and that's okay. When I first moved to Shanghai and slowly started settling into life here, it was extremely hard. Many times I felt alone. I cried because I missed my home, my friends, my family so much. I thought I wouldn't be able to live up to this exchange life that I dreamed of, but what I neglected to do and what I'm starting to practice now is just to be kind and gentle to myself. I was failing to recognize what a big change in lifestyle I was experiencing and the time I needed to adjust and to thrive in this new environment. 13. Now, with this huge change in lifestyle also comes the language barrier that has been incredibly difficult for me to manage. For a while, I was reluctant to speak Mandarin here because I was so afraid of embarrassing myself or looking silly. And don't get me wrong, I still am, but I've learned now that it's through practice and just speaking, making those mistakes, that I can improve. 14. Now, although this past month has been challenging, I want to acknowledge how grateful I am to have such a strong support system and how important it is to have a strong support system when moving away. During my last month in Vancouver, I was showered with so much love, encouraging messages, and endless support, which made me feel so empowered to take on this next year of my life. My friends and family still text me and call me every day, so they still know how to make me feel like I'm not that far away from them. 15. Being able to live in Shanghai has also given me the insane privilege and opportunity to really get to know my mom's hometown of Wenzhou. If you ever have the opportunity to visit your family's home, take it, because you'll quickly discover that home is not just where you grew up, but where your parents made lifelong friends, where they laughed and played as kids, and the neighborhood that ultimately shaped them to be who they are today. A few weeks ago, I was able to visit the exact spot where my mom's family grew up as kids, and it felt like such a full circle moment to be there, and it made me feel all sorts of emotions. 16. The love you experience from your parents' childhood friends is a love that is irreplaceable. I feel so grateful to have received the affection from all my mom's friends, and it also just speaks volumes as to how much they appreciate my mom as a friend. I hope to be able to build friendships like theirs, because the bond they have is seriously unbreakable. 17. Not only have I had the chance to explore Wenzhou, but other places in China that I didn't know were so beautiful and that existed. I'm very grateful to have met friends here who are so well versed in China's culture, because it is through them that I've learned that every city here has so much to offer. 17. Now, although I've had the most fun experiences here during my first month in Shanghai, that's not to say that I've gone through a roller coaster of emotions, stressful situations, and times where I felt I would not be able to live up to the expectations I have set for myself. But by going through this, it made me realize that with the most exciting adventures also comes with encountering, at first glance, the most frightening experiences. 18. If you ever encounter anyone who has just recently moved away from their home country and they ask you for help, it will mean the world to them if you did your absolute best to give them your undivided attention and gave them a warm smile of encouragement while you're at it. Growing up, there were a lot of students, especially from China, who immigrated to Vancouver to start a new life with their family, and they quite literally had to start from scratch. I realize now how hard it must have been to be suddenly thrown in an environment where they didn't understand the language at all, the lifestyle, and they had something to learn every step of the way. In elementary school, when the teacher would say, "Oh, please make so-and-so feel welcome," I realized how meaningful it would have been if I approached that student and welcomed them in the little Chinese that I knew. So now I make the commitment to myself to be the most warm and helpful I can be if I ever encounter someone who is new to my country, because it has meant the world to me when a stranger has helped me out and offered me a kind smile of encouragement. So I really hope you guys will do the same. 19. Now, with all this talk about growing and learning, sometimes it may be difficult to find it in you to really execute the things you talk about doing. Sometimes it's hard and scary, but when I encounter these situations, I just start thinking, how would I want my own younger sister to act in this situation? my future daughter, the other young girls in my life who look up to me, even friends my age? How would I advise them to act? Sometimes it can be hard to show up for yourself, but sometimes it can be easier to show up for others. So in times of distress, I think about them and it helps me to follow through with my actions and plan. 20. To be quite honest, I thought about doing a different video this year because I really didn't think I'd be able to think of 20 lessons. But what I realized is that learning is always an ongoing, lifelong process. You're almost always going to come across situations and experiences that you wouldn't even think of or expect. And I think that's the definition of life. You try and live every experience the best you can. You have the power to choose what you want to do with that experience. And it is ultimately up to you to decide how you want to live your life and what to do moving forward. And I think that is the most liberating and most beautiful lesson I've learned thus far. So with that, I'd like to conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting me, and showing me so much love on my birthday. I am my happiest self when I'm able to do things like this, and even happier when people tell me they really resonate with what I have to say. So shout out to you guys for making me feel my happiest on my special day. I am sending you guys all my love from Shanghai, China. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy. Bye now. I will see you in the next one.